Okay, so I'm going to be going over the Kettlebell Snatch today, actually just one specific part of it. I'm only going to go over the hand release during the pull portion of the snatch. I already recorded myself doing it, but I have it in slow motion, so I think the easiest way to do this is just I'm going to watch what I have already and then just talk. I'm just going to overlay the audio later. I think that'll work. Hopefully. Okay, so from a front view, just going through this slow motion one time. Hard to tell, I'm gonna have to freeze frame it a few different times. And that's an unusually long stare into the camera afterwards. Okay, right here where it's paused. You can see the bottom of the bell. So at this point, the bell is out in front of me, roughly shoulder height, and the bottom of the bell is completely facing away. Let's go. One frame later, this is the first time you can see my fingers. So my fingers are still around the handlebar at this point, and my hand or the handle are roughly at chin height. Good, so 2 frames later, you can see my hand spread out. So at that point, I no longer have a grip of the handle, and that happened roughly at eye height. At eye height is where you want the insertion to occur. So you go from like a full grip around the handle of the bell to completely releasing your grip so you can shoot the hand up into the handle. We'll get a little bit more into that later. At this point, what I'm thinking, my acceleration pull is done, so my arm is no longer moving up and back. At this point, I'm trying to shoot my index finger and thumb, sort of this little L right here. I'm trying to shoot that into the upper corner of the handle of the kettlebell. That's where I want to receive the bell. So that's what's happening here. Keep going. And up overhead. So I'm not quite at lockout at this position, but this just gives a good view of the angle of the bell. So you can see the top corner of the handle is in between my thumb and my index finger. Sort of that L I was talking about. The bottom part of the handle is resting on almost the outside of my forearm. Also in here, you'll notice that the fatty part of my hand underneath the pinky is completely through the handle. So it's a big hand insertion through there. You're not just like trying to get your fingers through there. You're trying to insert the entire hand. The point of that, one, is to get a good stable position overhead, but 2, it's also gonna save your grip. Like, the reason I receive with open fingers here is to demonstrate that you can receive that bell overhead without relying on your grip strength. Because if you're doing kettlebell snatches for reps, the pull up and the receiving portion on the way down are going to be very grip dependent. And just quickly going through another angle, this is going to give a little bit better of a view of kind of that acceleration pull, and then you'll be able to see from the side kind of where that hand insertion happens. Again, it should be roughly around eye level. These are actually 2 different snatches. I moved, so hopefully they're close. So at this point, I'm beginning my acceleration pull, meaning my hips are at full extension, and now I'm going to begin to pull up and back with my elbow. So I'm translating the forward movement of that bell into vertical movement with the acceleration pull from my arm. The last thing to note here, I think this is probably going to be the highest point that I still have a full grip around the bell. I'm almost to eye height with the handle and my hand. I'm probably about to release the grip and shoot my hand up and in to the handle. Yep, not quite. So it was 2 more frames, and then you'll see I had a full release of my hands, and you saw my fingers sort of reaching out in front of the bell. So I was already shooting my hand up into the handle, and then we'll just finish with that overhead position. So again, here overhead, you can see the fatty part of my hand underneath my pinky is all the way through the handle, and there's like a 45-degree angle of the handle coming across my hand. So the hand insertion in a snatch and the clean, the snatch just happens roughly at eye level. The clean, it's like belly button height. It's very hard to explain and contextualize because it's so quick. So I just want to make a video where I can like pause it at a handful of places, freeze frame the video, and then explain what exactly is happening. So if you've been struggling with the kettlebell snatch. Hopefully this explains some of it. The reason you need to have that hand release and insertion, if you maintain a full grip around the whole time, the bell's not gonna spin around your wrist. It's gonna go up over the top and come crashing down on the back of your forearm. So this is one of those things you can work on. Just get that timing down. Any iPhones have a great slow-mo technology on it. Words, they're tough. So if you're trying to figure out like when the hand insertion happens when you're doing a kettlebell snatch, just videotape yourself and check it out. So hopefully this helps.